Hi, I'm Cindy,
And I'm Elizabeth.
and we're here for another feeding frenzy on the Master Key system. This is part 2, number 2.
Well, you did that good.
I told you I could. Okay, you
I'm
ready?
gonna let you take that over.
No. The subconscious logical processes are carried on with a certainty and regularity which would be impossible if there existed the possibility of error.
Hmm.
Our mind is so designed that it prepares for us the most important foundations of cognition, whilst we have not the slightest apprehension of the modus operandi. What does
Makes
that say
sense.
to you?
Makes sense. It just is basically saying that it's a perfect working system, even if we don't know what the system is made of, or how it
How it
functions, or even what its capacity is. It works perfectly. And it has to. Because if it ever had an error built into it, it wouldn't work.
It reminds me of computers. They don't make errors. We put in bad information, which produces errors. But the computer itself doesn't make an error or make a mistake. So as a programmer, I am very thankful for that.
Why?
Because lots of times I have bugs or errors in my programs. And if there was a chance that the computer could make an error, then I would always wonder, is this my error or the computer's? There's been many times when I thought, I did not make a mistake. I know I did it exactly the way it's supposed to be done. So the computer must have messed it up.
Of course.
Of course. But the computer never messes it up. So I know it has to be something I've done wrong. And there have been many times I wanted to say, just, computer, just do it this one time for me. Just make it work this one time. But I'm glad that it doesn't, because then I would be shooting at a moving target. You know? So our subconscious is not a moving target. It works the same every time.
And we see God that way, too.
Right.
Yes. God doesn't make mistakes.
Right.
Period.
Right.
And if he did, then none of this would work.
Right.
None of it. The world, the human race, the animal kingdom, the nothing, the seasons, nothing would work because there would be error in it.
Right. So the way I see this, it works the same way every time. And if it appears differently, that's because we have different circumstances or different perspectives or different something else. It works the same way every time. And once we learn that way, then we'll have it figured out. You agree with that?
I think so. I think so. We'll have a better chance of figuring it out.
Right.
That's for sure.
Right. And we can work with the law
Right.
instead of against it.
Well, and I don't necessarily think against it. Working with it to help bring it to me quicker, whatever it is I'm seeking. Not necessarily against it, because I can, out of luck or not knowing, hit on the right one. Do you know what I'm saying? But I can't do it consistently. So I think working with it, we can do it more consistently. We can work with the law more consistently. It's not necessarily right or wrong.
The subconscious logical processes are carried on with a certainty and regularity. So it's not just some of the time, always. Which would be impossible if there existed the possibility of error.
Do you believe in that?
I do. I do. We can depend on it. You know? Our mind is so designed that it prepares for us the most important foundations of cognition, whilst we have not the slightest apprehension of the modus operandi.
What does
We
that
don't
mean to
have
you?
to. I don't have to know how it works. You know, I've heard Ed Wein say, I don't have to know how my car works to drive it.
Right.
You know, I don't have to know how everything works before I can use it. Now, I think it helps to know how it works, because then I can work more in line with it.
Right.
And so I think studying this helps us to learn how to work more in line with it and to stay in alignment. And I think that's why we study about God and the universe, is so that we can work more in alignment and get in alignment.
And work more with it. It's almost like you said, like driving the car. We all have to have a certain knowledge base in order to work with that vehicle.
Right.
If we choose not to learn the entire knowledge base, okay, we may not get the same life out of the vehicle. We may run into mechanical failures earlier. We may, have a flat tire and not know how to deal with it. But if we learn to work with it, it works for us better. and
Right.
last longer. Well, the same goes with the laws, the spiritual laws. You know, as soon as we learn how to work with it, then we're going to see what we want to manifest quicker. Not necessarily that we won't see it at all ever, but we're going to be able to work with it better. if We understand it,
Right.
which is the whole point of doing this.
Right. And the better I understand those things, then the more I can work with it. You know, I know I've told you the story before about the guy that walked up to the elevator and just hit the button over and over and over again. Everybody thought he was crazy. But he knew how it was programmed. And that the more people who hit the button, the quicker it comes to that floor.
Now, is that actually true?
Yeah.
Because you're going to have hundreds of people now sitting at every elevator going,
Well, I don't know if it's true for every elevator. It was true for that one. And he had been the one that had programmed it. So my point is that the more we know how things work,
yes.
then the more we can take advantage of some of those little things that, to get
And work
our
with it.
manifestations there quicker. All right. Anything else on this one?
I think that's good stuff.
Very good. Shrink.
Stream.